Football Manager 26 is finally here, and you know the first thing we all want to know isn't how new tactics work or how the new UI works. It's who the best players are this year and who's going straight into the transfer list bin. So I've done what any sensible person with access to the new game would do, and I've simulated the entire first season to give us a proper at-a-glance look at the best and worst teams, the top scorers, the assist kings, the biggest flops, all of it, so you know exactly who to sign and who to laugh at when your mate picks them for his save. And because this game simulates ridiculously fast, I left it running overnight last night, and I've now got 100 seasons of data ready to go as well. So if you want to see the big simulation, the one that shows the future of football in FM26, make sure you hit the like button on this video. If this video does well, that monster simulation drops tomorrow. If it doesn't, well, I guess I'll make something else instead. And if you still haven't got FM26 and want to play today, you can do exactly that by pre-ordering through my affiliate link at the top of the description. It's cheaper than Steam or Epic, gives you immediate access to the advanced access beta, and it supports the channel at the same time. So thank you very much to those of you who've already done that. But now let's get into the simulation, find out who the real stars of football in FM26 are, as Football Manager 26 predicts the current Premier League season. We're also going to look at the lower leagues in England as well. This is just going to be England, which I know is going to upset some of you, but I don't know the other leagues. I wouldn't know what was unusual and what wasn't. There we go. There's your immediate spoiler result. Football Manager thinks Manchester City are going to win the league this year, which seems unlikely. Winning the league, having only lost 2 games all season, 73 goals scored, 88 points on the board. Liverpool in second place on 83. Arsenal third on 78, and Chelsea in 4th on 73 points. Then it's all the way back to Man United, Newcastle, Spurs. There's quite the gap to drop back down to those ones. Interestingly, I mean, that has given, I think that probably is the top 7. Bournemouth might have something to say about it based on current form, but that probably is your Premier League top 7, is it not? Just maybe not in that order. And then if we go down to the other end of the table, relegation. Interesting that Forest go down, finishing rock bottom of this simulation, despite the fact that obviously in real life Forest had quite a good season last year, but I guess the managerial shenanigans are very much coded into the game, and it's all gone a little bit wrong for Forest. So Forest getting relegated on 23 points. Sunderland also going down on 28. Wolves on 32, which means Leeds, West Ham, Everton all survive. And then if we go to have a flick through the other leagues in England as well, starting with the Championship, which is trying to show me the playoffs at the moment. But there you go. Champions are going to be Southampton on 88 points, Ipswich finishing second on 87. And then Norwich, as we just saw, are going to win a playoff final against Leicester 3-0. That one seems particularly unlikely currently, but Norwich are heading back to the Premier League apparently, and anyone from real life who suggests otherwise is clearly incorrect. Also up in the playoff spots, you've got Leicester, Hull and Derby, with Sheffield United and Coventry narrowly missing out. And then relegated from the Championship, Preston, Sheffield Wednesday and Charlton, with Portsmouth, Oxford and Wrexham, and I guess Bristol City and Birmingham all just kind of clinging on and escaping that relegation battle. If we move down to League One, as a Peterborough fan, all I'm really hoping for here is Posh don't finish bottom. Same as what I'm hoping for in real life. Can we not look at the League One table? Oh, there we go. Just beta things. Yeah? Just beta things. So Cardiff are going to win League One. I'm not really familiar with the top of the League One table in real life. I've not really had to look at it. But Cardiff going up as champions. Huddersfield also automatically promoted, and Luton are going to win those playoffs, beating Doncaster in the final, Wigan and Bolton, the other teams, to make it into the playoffs. Worryingly, we can see the top 14. Posh are not amongst them, and we are getting relegated in game, just like we might well do in real life. Very harsh, if you ask me. I'm managing Peter as my stream save. That might be a harder stream save than I anticipated it being. Good to see Northampton finishing rock bottom. I mean, if Posh have to get relegated, at least Northampton are going to get more relegated. Mansfield and Wimbledon also joining the mighty Peterborough United in League Two next season, with Stevenage, Exeter and Port Vale finishing just 1 point outside of those relegation spots. And then if we move down to League Two, which Right, you don't click on where it says League Two. You click on the box. I'm slowly figuring things out. So League Two, oh God, Cambridge getting promoted while Posh get relegated. It's the kind of thing nightmares are made of. But Bromley going up as champions, Cambridge and Grimsby also automatically promoted, and Salford winning the playoffs, reassuring me that the playoffs don't just automatically go to the team that finished in the highest league position, which is what happened in the other leagues. Crewe, Gillingham and McDonald's are the other teams that are going to head for those playoffs. And then relegated down into non-league is Accrington and Notts County, with Oldham, Newport, Bristol Rovers, Crawley, all in a relegation battle, but ultimately surviving. In the interests of fast simulation, I didn't load up non-league, so we're not going to be able to get a sneaky preview of our non-league to legend starting team, Bedford. What we are going to do is head back to the Premier League and have a look at the European competitions and also some of the team and player stats. So we can take advantage of the new search feature in Football Manager 26 to go and find the Champions League and discover that winning the Champions League this season is Real Madrid beating Paris Saint-Germain 3-1 in the final. We can skip back through some of the previous rounds as well to see who goes deep in it. So Liverpool and Bayern Munich both making it to the semi-finals. The quarter-finals sees Paris Saint-Germain knocking out Barcelona, Liverpool knocking out Man City, Real Madrid beating Arsenal, Bayern Munich defeating Villarreal. If we drop down to the Europa League, is that going to be the competition directly below, do we think? Yeah, it is. Europa League is going to be won by Lille. And they're going to beat Aston Villa on penalties in the final, semi-final. Rangers making it to the semi-final but losing to Villa. An all-French semi-final on the other side of the draw. And Nottingham Forest, despite getting relegated from the Premier League, making it all the way through to the quarter-final of the Europa League. And then if we have a look at the Conference League is going to be won by Strasbourg, my beloved Servette, making it all the way through to the final. I've been to their ground and had some very delicious fish in Geneva. Would love to go again. If I can manage them this year, I'm happy to do another trip to Geneva. Slovan Bratislava got knocked out by Strasbourg in the semi-final. Vallecano losing to Servette. And then quarterfinals, a whole bunch of teams I don't know how to pronounce. Jagiellonia, maybe? I don't know. And then if we head back to the Premier League, I promised we would look at some of the stats as well. So as far as team stats go, Liverpool scored most goals and got most possession and had the most shots and the most clean sheets, but somehow Manchester City won the league. So I think all of that can be explained with two words. Let's say them together. Erling Haaland is probably the reason why all of that was ultimately irrelevant. As we can see, he did finish top scorer in the Premier League, albeit only on 20 goals. So actually not as dominant as he could be. Where is top goal scorer? There we go. So why is it sorted so weird? There we go. So Erling Haaland did finish top scorer. Alexander Isak second with 17 goals. Bit of a surprise based on how he started at Liverpool in real life. Tierno Barry finishing third on 16. Mbomo, Calvert-Lewin, Salah, Wirtz, all joint fourth with 15 goals. And then you've got Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Thiago at Brentford before you finally find Victor Gyökeres, Bernardo Silva and so on. Chelsea's top scorer was João Pedro and Cole Palmer jointly on 11 goals. So certainly seems Isak is a success. Wirtz definitely a success with his transfer. If we sort this by minutes per goal, it is interesting to see that Sesko scoring a goal every 95 minutes, but that only adds up to 10 goals. I don't know if that means he had an injury and that's why he wasn't really used. He only started 9 games, scored 10 goals, came off the bench 15 times. Manchester United inexplicably not using him, despite him having the best goals to minutes ratio in the entire Premier League, is bananas. Ekitike, very, very, very similar situation at Liverpool. He's got 7 goals from only 20 appearances, presumably the majority of those substitute appearances as well. 5 starts, 15 substitute appearances, but scoring a decent number of goals. It annoys me that doesn't take me back to the right screen. And then you've also got, I noticed quite close to the top of this was, where is he? he's disappeared. Victor Gyökeres, who also doesn't seem to have played very much football, only playing 25 games, scoring 13 goals. Presumably that one was an injury. If we go back if we go back there, no, not to Gyökeres. If we go back here, I'm still learning the UI. I'm sure we all are. Leave me alone. It's early days. The other thing to note from the top goal scorers is Dominic Calvert-Lewin is forever going to be Football Manager Dominic Calvert-Lewin rather than real world Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Looks like he's still a fairly decent bet. This is an interesting one. The expected goals top scorers. For a start, no one gets anywhere near the amount of goals that were actually scored. So everyone theoretically performing below their XG. Is that what that means? I mean, where's Haaland? Haaland has an XG of 11, but scored 20 goals. Saka, who has the best XG at 15, ended up scoring 14 goals. So he's pretty much performing 2 XG. But there's not many strikers who are most of the strikers are massively outperforming their XG, in fact, this gives us exactly that. The expected goals over performance. This is a nice little statistic. So Haaland, again, this gives us a really good idea of who our best actual finishers are, I guess. Forget minutes on the pitch, forget how often they've played. This is how have they performed against their own XG. So Erling Haaland overperformed his XG by 8.5 goals. Isak by 8 goals. So they're both like top tier, super duper elite strikers. But Mbeumo at Manchester United also massively overperforming his XG, as did Schade at Brentford, Šeško, Gyökeres, and so on as we go down the list. So that's a really interesting little statistic. I like that one. And there's lots more bits and bobs we can pick out there. I'm looking for assist makers. So best top assist maker was Florian Wirtz. We've already seen in my Arsenal Let's Play, which if you haven't seen yet, you should go and watch. We're having a lot of fun with it, but we've played Liverpool twice at this point, and Florian Wirtz is causing us all kinds of problems, as demonstrated. He's quite good. And then we've got Tanaka at Leeds in there with 14 assists, is a bit of a surprising one. And 100% pass completion. Is that what that means? That cannot be right. There is not a chance that man has 100% pass completion. I've got to believe that's an incorrectly labelled thing in the UI. But I don't know what it could possibly actually be. Never put a pass astray, never got a man in the match, averaging a 6.63, but never missed a pass and got 14 assists. That's a weird one. That's a very weird one. Bernardo Silva is up there, though. Is this? Oh, this isn't assists anymore. This is average rating. We're going to come back to average rating in a minute. I just want to finish looking at assists. Thanks, Football Manager. So yeah, other guys up there for assists: Fernandes, Nunes, Odegaard, Tother Fernandes, etc., etc. Right, now I want to have a look at your average rating, because I thought this was quite interesting when I had a little peek at this before recording, because I think this gives us a little bit of a clue as to the type of player. Obviously, we've picked out some names who are doing particularly well. Salah, Isak, Wirtz. But if you look at this, I think it's pretty clear from the top average rating that there's a particular type of player that does quite well, at least in this Premier League simulation on FM26. And that is wingers. Because we've got, in particular, wingers playing off their opposite foot. Because we've got Salah, who, of course, is a left footer playing on the right. Saka, left footer playing on the right. Kulusevski is a left footer playing on the right, isn't he? But, Gordon, I think, is a right footer playing on the left, as is Martinelli. And there's probably more examples. I don't know what foot Mitoma uses, but I feel like when I've managed Brighton in the past, I've used him as inside forward. So I think he's probably a right footer playing on the left. Bernardo Silva, a bit of an exception. And Wirtz presumably has been playing a little bit more centrally, but certainly wide players playing on their opposite foot, quite powerful when it comes to average rating in Football Manager. And they've delivered some incredible performances. 19 man of the matches for Mohamed Salah. That's half the football matches he's played for Liverpool. He has been the best player on the pitch, despite scoring half the amount of goals he got the season before. So clearly, playing in that inside forward, inverted winger kind of role is key to getting a good rating in Football Manager. Same thing from Saka, 24 goal contributions, 17 man of the matches and 8.19. And I know they're both exceptional players, but they're also both playing exactly the same position. And I think that is quite interesting when it comes to putting tactics together. I mean, where's the highest rated striker on this? I mean, seriously, Isak, 21st with a 7.37. So Haaland, who's finished top scorer, absolutely nowhere to be seen on here, unless I'm losing my mind. I find that quite interesting. The last thing I wanted to look at was the biggest transfers in the Premier League, both in and out over the course of the season. Because obviously all of the real life transfers are already done, but most clubs do still have some budget. So it looks like selling to Saudi Arabia is still strong. Van Heck, the biggest transfer either in or out of the Premier League, going from Brighton to Al Ittihad for £65 million. That's some big business. Manchester City spending big. They've brought this guy in, Jenny, who's coming from Sporting. He's probably not called Jenny. He might be called Jenny. Maybe he's called Jenny. But they've spent a lot of money on him as a wing back. They've also... I thought they'd bought their own goalkeeper back. No, that's a different Edison. They couldn't bear to not have an Edison in the team. So he's come in as well. Newcastle signing this fella off of Paris Saint-Germain. Bournemouth getting in on their selling to Saudi Arabia action, selling Adams for just under £50 million. Manchester City spending a lot of money. They also brought in Lima and Carlos Augusto. Man City throwing the cash around. Manchester United selling Dalot. Henderson went from Crystal Palace to Al Nassr for fairly big money. So, yeah, that definitely seems to be an option. And beware Manchester City, they're going to spend big and win the league and just throw their cash around, which ever so unpleasant. Don't rate it at all. Manchester United selling Trevor Chalobah from Chelsea. He's odd 3 times round. They don't need another defender. Chelsea do need defenders. And I mean, I guess Chelsea do like to sign their homegrown players, but still a weird old transfer. But yeah, that is the Premier League simulated. Oh, in fact, is there an easy way to check manager movements? That's the other interesting thing that I'd quite like to see. Which managers got sacked and when. Any guesses as to where that might be in the new UI? Bear with me. It was literally there on the transfer ins and outs page. I must have just gone straight past it before. There is manager movements. So these are the manager movements. So Forest sacked Sean Dyche in December and brought in Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe, right, so it starts at the bottom. So Eddie Howe got sacked by Newcastle. He was replaced by Oliver Glasner from Crystal Palace. Who Crystal Palace hired Ange Postecoglou. So he does work in England again. Imagine being a Palace fan and having to make that kind of deal. Wolves sacked Vitor Pereira and brought in Xavi Hernandez. Sunderland sacked Libris and brought in Edin Terzic. Who is Edin Terzic? Should I know who he is? Former Dortmund manager, apparently. There you go. I don't know anything about this. Is why we only did the Premier League. I know nothing about the Bundesliga. And there's your confirmation, of course. Dyche getting sacked, Eddie Howe coming in. Wasn't enough to save Forest, though. So not a huge managerial merry-go-round, to be honest. But Ange Postecoglou, still an actual working football manager after what he did at Forest. Impressive stuff. But that now was me having a quick look at Football Manager, predicting the Premier League season that we are now part way through. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Did anything stand out as particularly weird for you? And like I said in the intro, if you do want to see 100 years simulated in Football Manager, I've got the file ready to go. I just need to know you want to see it. So leave a thumbs up on that video. And if this video performs well, that one will come out tomorrow. But if you have enjoyed this, like I say, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for loads more Football Manager content. And thank you very much for watching.